Fiber supplements can be helpful for digestion, but the options can feel overwhelming. The good news is that when you look at the research, only a handful really stand out for proven digestive benefits, and those are the ones worth focusing on. One of the best studied options is Psyllium, a fiber that comes from the plant Plantago ovata. It has strong evidence across a range of digestive issues. For constipation, taking around 10 grams per day for at least 4 weeks has been shown to improve regularity and make stools easier to pass. On the flip side, Psyllium can also help with diarrhea. It has been found to work about as well as loperamide, a common anti-diarrhea medication, in reducing urgency and frequency. For people with irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, clinical trials suggest Psyllium can reduce ongoing symptoms compared to a placebo. There's even some evidence in ulcerative colitis, where a small study found it may be as effective as mesalamine in helping prevent relapse. It can also ease symptoms of hemorrhoids, such as bleeding and discomfort. Beyond that, population studies have linked higher Psyllium intake with a lower risk of death from colorectal-related conditions. What makes Psyllium useful is how it works. It absorbs water and forms a thick gel-like substance in the gut, which helps regulate bowel movements. It's mostly a bulking fiber, but it also undergoes a small amount of fermentation in the colon, producing beneficial compounds like butyrate that support gut health. You can get Psyllium as a complete husk or powdered, but it's also sold in ready-to-mix products, most notably Metamucil, which is the most widely studied version. By the way, I review a lot of supplements here, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated, and support me on Ko-fi if you enjoy the content. Another big advantage of Psyllium is that it's generally well tolerated. Because it ferments slowly, it tends to cause less gas and bloating than many other fibers. Most people do well with it, even those with sensitive digestion like IBS. The main issue is starting too much too fast. This can lead to temporary bloating or cramping. Gradually increasing the dose usually prevents these problems. Another option to consider is guar gum, a soluble fiber extracted from guar beans and commonly used as a thickener in foods. In adults with constipation, doses ranging from 4 to 22 grams per day have been shown to increase stool frequency and reduce straining and discomfort. In children with infectious diarrhea, guar gum has been found to shorten how long symptoms last. And in adults with IBS, studies using about 5 to 10 grams per day have shown some improvement in gas and bloating. However, they didn't find benefits for other common symptoms like abdominal pain. Many guar gum supplements use a modified form called partially hydrolyzed guar gum, or PHGG. This version has been broken down into smaller components, making it less thick and easier to mix into food and drinks. It also tends to be gentler on the gut while still offering benefits. One of the most well-known products that used to contain PHGG was Benefiber, although it has since been reformulated and now uses wheat dextrin instead. Speaking of wheat-based fibers, there are two main types to know about: wheat bran and wheat dextrin. Wheat bran is the outer layer of the wheat grain that's removed during processing, while wheat dextrin is a modified form of wheat starch that's turned into a soluble fiber supplement. Both are used for digestive health, but they work quite differently, and overall, the evidence strongly favors using wheat bran over wheat dextrin. Wheat bran is best known for helping with constipation. Taking around 20 to 25 grams per day can increase how often you have bowel movements, although it doesn't do much to soften the stools. There's also evidence it can lower the risk of hemorrhoids coming back. In people with IBS, wheat bran may help reduce abdominal pain and make bowel movements more regular. That said, it doesn't work the same for everyone. Some people find this type of fiber harder to tolerate, and in certain cases, it can actually make symptoms feel worse instead of better. Wheat bran helps bulk out your stool and is naturally found in foods like whole wheat flour, bran cereals, and bran muffins. It's a type of insoluble fiber, which means it doesn't dissolve in water. Because of this coarse, rough texture, it doesn't fully break down as it moves through your gut, and if you add too much too quickly, it can sometimes irritate your digestive system. Wheat dextrin, on the other hand, is a soluble fiber that dissolves completely in water, and is typically sold as a powder you can mix into food or drinks. One of the most well-known examples is Benefiber. It's generally easier to tolerate than wheat bran, and is less likely to cause irritation, but it also technically does not have the same level of evidence when it comes to improving digestive issues. Another option is flaxseed, which is often considered a functional food because it provides more than just fiber. It contains a mix of soluble and insoluble fiber, along with healthy fats and antioxidant compounds called lignans. Research in healthy adults shows that consuming foods with ground flaxseed can increase bowel movements. In people with ulcerative colitis, early studies suggest it may help reduce inflammation and improve quality of life. There's also population-level evidence linking higher intake of lignans to a lower risk of colorectal cancer. To get the most benefit from flaxseed, it's best to use whole seed and grind them fresh before eating. This helps preserve the nutrients and makes them easier for your body to absorb. Eating flaxseed whole isn't ideal since their tough outer shell can pass through your system without fully breaking down. Pre-ground flaxseed is more convenient, but it may lose some of its nutritional value over time due to exposure to air. Then there are prebiotic fibers like fructooligosaccharides or FOS and galactooligosaccharides or GOS. These don't work the same way as bulking fibers. Instead of directly affecting stool, they feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Some early research suggests FOS can help with constipation by increasing stool frequency and improving consistency. GOS has been shown to reduce the risk of mild traveler's diarrhea, although it doesn't seem to help once diarrhea has already started. In ulcerative colitis, GOS may help normalize stool patterns, but it doesn't appear to improve symptoms like pain. Also, in infants with colic, formulas enriched with GOS have been shown to reduce crying episodes. FOS are naturally found in foods like onions, garlic, and bananas, while GOS are typically found in foods like dairy products. Because they're highly fermentable, gut bacteria break them down quickly, producing short-chain fatty acids that may benefit gut health. However, this rapid fermentation also means they're more likely to cause gas and bloating, especially when you first start taking them. So where does that leave everything else? Beyond these few fibers, the evidence becomes much less convincing. Some fibers like inulin may help with constipation, but don't have strong proof for broader digestive benefits. It's easy to assume that any soluble fiber will automatically improve gut health, but the science doesn't really back that up. A lot of ideas about how fiber works, like feeding beneficial gut bacteria or helping things move more smoothly through your digestive system, do make sense and often look promising in lab studies. But when researchers test these fibers in well-designed human trials, looking at real-world results like bloating, reduced pain, or better regularity, the results are often inconsistent, or there simply isn't enough evidence to show clear benefit. So while many fibers sound helpful in theory, only a small number have actually been proven to make a meaningful difference in practice. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Yeung. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. Finally, if you enjoy what we do and want to learn more, consider supporting us on Ko-fi, and be sure to check out our other socials as well.